Joining us now is Mike Dickinson. Mike is a candidate for city council in Richmond. He's going to tell you all about it, what ward it is, and all that good stuff. And he's already made some headlines by threatening to do a mural, Babies' Lives Matter, and then the Black Lives Matter mural was stopped in its tracks. And he did that by himself. And he's joining us now. Mike Dickinson, great to have you, Mike.
Always great to be here on your show. Great respect for you and great respect for your show and everything you do and stand up for.
Mike, tell us about your campaign. What ward is it and how does it shaken out?
I'm running in the 1st District of Richmond, which is everything to the west pretty much of the boulevard. It's the Museum District, Windsor Farms, Mary Mumford, all the way down to U of R and Willow Lawn area. I feel good about it. We've been out there talking to people who are just sick of this incompetent government we have here in Richmond, sick of a mayor that's not letting the police do their job, sick of always the solution being more government and more taxes and the solution never being accountability. So it's just, it's a shame what's happened to Richmond the last 5 months. It's turned into a war zone. It's an embarrassment. It's not safe.
So, as running for city council, taking the positions that you're in, running in a very liberal, very democratic city in the 1st District, how are those going to play out?
Well, I know President Trump got 4,300 votes here in this district in 2016, so there are votes to be had. I know that the two people I'm running against there's one guy who's very liberal. He marched with Black Lives Matter. He supports all of this destruction. The other guy is an incumbent, but he's voted to raise taxes. He said defunding the police is a good idea. My whole argument is we need to double down and support law enforcement. We need to support the rule of law, and we need to get into this idea that more government is not the answer. Accountability is the answer, not more government. So going through and talking to people in the 1st District, a lot of people feel that way, but a lot of people won't tell you publicly, or they're afraid to put signs up. The amount of intimidation that people in the 1st District are feeling from their liberal neighbors, from the mayor, from these just psychotic people on the left, it's unreal. People tell me every day, I put your sign out, I put a President Trump sign out, but my neighbors will have a problem with me. I don't want to be a target. So it's almost, like a form of intimidation and voter suppression that way because of these people on the left are acting so nuts.
Mm-hmm. Mike, tell me about, you said that President Trump got 4,300 votes in 2016 in District 1. Offhand, do you know how many the incumbent got?
I believe Addison, it was a two-way race in 2016, and there's about 13,000 voters in the district. Between two people, I believe the Addison got like 7,000 or 8,000 votes. But that was between two people. This race is between three people, two fairly liberal people and one conservative. So if we can pull what President Trump pulls and maybe flip a few other people who are upset about this threat to public safety, we're going to be in good shape.
So you get 6,000 votes, and then the other vote is split, and then you're able to win. Now is it the same as mayor? Do you have to get 50% plus one or go to a runoff, or is it a plurality?
It's just a plurality. It's none of the. You don't have to raise 50% to win.
Right. So you could be 40-30-30, and the guy with 40% or gal wins. Right.
Yes, that's
all right.
correct.
So it sounds like you got a heck of a shot there because you got two liberals running on the same thing, one trying to out left wing the other one, and you got one person talking reason. Now, are you knocking on doors? Tell us about your campaign.
We're knocking on doors. We're putting door hangers out. We're talking to the people who we see on the street. We're putting out yard signs. We're not just campaigning. We're actually trying to engage the fight before we even get elected. Mm-hmm. We pushed back on, there was a plan to paint Black Lives Matter on a public street downtown. So using the same permit process they used, I filed to have Baby Lives Matter painted in front of Planned Parenthood here on Hamilton Street, which is in my district.
That. Yep.
Using the same process that they use. And they were stopped in their tracks because the mayor and the city council and they didn't want to allow mine, so they had to stop everybody's. So I'm not just campaigning. I'm already trying to put skin in the game and get on the front lines to fight back.
Well, that's called activism, right? So you fought back the right way. You use the same jargon that they do, same paperwork to file for your own mural, Baby Lives Matter, in front of Planned Parenthood. So they didn't want that, so they got rid of the Black Lives Matter mural. I mean, I thought we ran that on the Virginia Star as one of our headlines. I thought it was a fabulous thing that you did, and basically shows that you're basically in this thing to win it. Mike Dickinson in this to win it, no question. So you basically need about, it seems to me, you need about 5,500 votes.
Yeah.
I think you're going to get there. Your baseline is for 4,300. Trump's going to have a bigger turnout, but I would have to think there's a lot of people in that ward that have got to be upset with what has happened.
Yeah.
I mean, kids aren't in school. I mean, basically, if you're in Richmond, you will not be in school for an entire year. Think about what that does to a child's development, Mike. A year, because they went out in the first week in March. And they've already said, the school board in Stony already said earliest they're going back is middle of January. Earliest. That's a year.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy that they've done this, and they're setting the kids back so far. And these are kids that they need to be in school. They need a regimen. And not only that, it's also an unfair process to many of these parents. Each parent works a job. The kids that have two parents and the kids that are single parents, the mom or dad has to work during the day to support them. So, nobody at the school board or the mayor, nobody thought about the implications to families and people. But the thing that's crazy is the government of Richmond has no problem sending you a higher tax bill this year. My taxes, my personal property assessment for my house went up 14%. So it's just absolutely crazy that the government thinks they can give us less and less and less services and less quality of services and make us pay more every time.
Yeah, what if there isn't any school? Why are your property taxes going up? And if they shut down, I mean, they shut down businesses, so they're not getting any tax revenue. Well, what do they expect is going to happen? I mean, these people are moronic. They're moronic.
Yes. Yes.
So, now, do you have any debate scheduled? Any forums? How's that work?
We've been doing a lot of online forums with community groups, and I mean, basically, we need a better and bigger Republican and conservative presence in Richmond, because every one of these forums that we have is some left-wing organization, and I get asked a million times about, should Richmond have a Green New Deal? Should Richmond have, high taxes to support this? Should we have more this and that? Instead of getting asked questions about really the core of government and what we need to be worrying about, which is delivering good services at the lowest cost possible, defending our constitutional rights, because that's been something else the mayor of Richmond has been on the warpath against, restricting our constitutional rights to defend ourselves. And I never get asked about any of that in any of these forums, because every left-wing organization has one, and we can't get anything together for a Republican forum. We need a stronger presence built up here. We need a stronger presence. I'm trying to do that, whether I win, which I hope I will, or lose. I'm trying to be a strong presence and have an organization going forward that can really push back on everything and try to be somebody that supports President Trump and an organization that supports his plans.
Well, Mike, I love what you're doing, and keep taking it to them. I love what you did with Baby Lives Matter. Tell us about your website.
My website is votedickinson.com. I'm also on Facebook at The Real Mike Dickinson. I use Facebook a lot. I got kicked off of Twitter, surprisingly. I kept getting suspended every time I retweeted something the president tweeted. I get kicked off. His comment when he said, when the looting starts, the shooting starts, I retweeted that, and all of a sudden Twitter kicks me off of there because I'm promoting violence. But they let every left-wing person in America, wish death upon the president this past weekend. It's crazy. They don't, and you can't do anything about it.
Unbelievable. John Fredericks Radio Network. All right. Well, I love what you're doing. Keep fighting. I know it's a tough district, but I think, look, just based on what you said, I think you got a heck of a shot in there. And thanks for all you do. Let's have you back on. One thing before I go, as you're talking to voters, what in your mind is the number one issue in your
Public
district?
safety. Public safety, law and order. People in the first district, we have the highest percentage of home ownership in the entire city. People here have worked hard for their homes. They've worked hard for their neighborhood. We're kind of an oasis of peace inside the turbulent and violent city we always have been. We have the lowest crime rates, and people want to keep it that way. People want to keep it that way. People don't want this lawless civilization that the Democrats and the left wing are advocating for and that the mayor's advocating for. People want to know that when a building's burning or when there's a mob running down their street, if they call the police are going to come and deal with the mob and stop the violence. They want streets that are safe for their kids to walk on. I want my neighborhood safe so when my nieces and nephews come visit me, they can stand in the front yard and we don't have to worry about violence or we don't have to worry about intimidation or any of this stuff. And so to me, and then the people I've spoke with in the first, public safety and law and order is the number one issue.
John Fredericks Radio Network. Mike Dickinson, thanks for being with us. We're definitely going to have you back, and thanks for all you do. And I absolutely commend you for what you did with Babies Lives Matter. I thought that was a brilliant stroke, especially putting it in front of Planned Parenthood. Great job, Mike, on that one. All right. I'll be seeing you later on today, I think at 1 p.m. We'll chat for a bit more so I can understand more about your district and exactly where it is and get your message out. But look, and I share your frustration that you participate in these liberal forums. There's no business forum there where like the Chamber of Commerce holds a forum and asks like legitimate questions, right? It's like the city's just gotten turned over to the far extremists, right? So hopefully you'll be able to stop that. But Mike, thanks for being with us.